Now, ladies and gentlemen, Counter-Strike 2's limited test build just saw its first update. Now, what specifically changed? Well, there were some bugs and patches that obviously needed to get fixed, but the main thing for today's video is the skin change based off community feedback, which if you guys are unsure of what this means, when CS2 first released just 48 hours ago, skins that got ported over were onto the new weapons of CS2, which they're completely different weapon models. Some translated great, some others didn't. You take the Op Sun and Leo, which probably was the most notorious one. A lot of people got burned buying into this, thinking it was just gonna be like this in the future, where the skin carried onto the scope, and in some instances, for some skins, the color changed entirely. Now, Counter-Strike on Twitter put out a tweet regarding various bugs for this limited test build, and now it's on their brand new blog post. That's exactly what we're gonna discuss in today's video. Today's video sponsor is Market.csgo. Market.csgo is a buying and selling marketplace for your skins, but most importantly, a peer-to-peer site. So the wait times in between trading, buying, or selling are as low as possible. The marketplace has over 100,000 trades a day, and even a built-in tab to find the best deals to make the most amount of profit possible. It also has a built-in client via download or Chrome to make trading very profitable, but most importantly, as safe as possible. Selling is as easy as the click of a button with extremely low fees, that of course being 5%. Definitely one of the best in its field and gives you an edge versus other competition. Once you sell an item, it goes directly to your balance. From there, you can choose to cash out with many different options, many more than other rival sites. Market.csgo is one of the best of its competition. With its low selling fees, scam-proof client, and a large amount of cash out options, I can't recommend this site enough. If interested, it'll be the top of the link in the description below. So Counter-Strike on Twitter, which is definitely odd to say because I'm so used to saying CSGO, right off the bat has been a lot more active with the community, with them interacting, liking and retweeting other people's tweets around CS. There were some custom videos from this guy Mango Duck that were just absolutely amazing. Looked like they're part of an Operation Cinematic, if not even better. They even have a story to them. They ended up retweeting it, showing the community love. But the most important part, they put out a blog post for this new update. They fixed the UI, the audio, and some very notorious game problems like crashes, some things not coming up in the camera when you throw smokes. But scrolling all the way down to the bottom is graphics, which for the most part is to do with skins and how things in game affect you on your screen. And it says they updated various weapon finishes based on community feedback. So this right here is very interesting, especially the way they worded this, which I'm not sure if many people are even going to touch on that. Meaning people complain to Valve, which a lot of people do for the right or wrong reasons. I'd say 90% of the time they just shove it underneath the rug and just go forward with their day, but they've actually gone along and changed things. And while I want to take a look at some of the skins that got altered, and also talk about their value and some more. And the first skin I want to take a look at here is the Op Sun and Leo. Now this is part of the Gods and Monsters collection, which obviously has the Medusa and the M4A4 Poseidon. This op has been altered entirely, where this, the Electric Hive, the Pit Viper, the Snake Camo for an example, was getting carried over to the scope for some reason. I think a big part of that was because these are different weapon models. I think some of the skins might have not registered correctly, getting ported over to Source 2. Skins were also not a main priority when pushing CS2 out. As you can see, the Electric Hive is completely changed as well. It's kind of just back to normal, and that's the main thing. A lot of these skins are just based how they were in CSGO, with just better lighting. Speaking of lighting, one of the skins that got one of the best effects, at least in my opinion, is the Combat Disruption. This is for the Desert Eagle. In CSGO, I think this thing looks absolutely horrendous, but in Source 2 with this new lighting, this skin actually looks good. And that's a problem or a good thing with many skins inside CS2 right now, which is the main reason why skins prices have risen so much, because they now look good when before, for some people, or I'd say most people, they weren't viable, meaning they didn't want to pick them up. The demand is obviously rising, which the price is going to follow suit. Looking at skins like the Combat Disruption and just skins in general that are based off of lighting, I'm not so sure that we're going to see a bunch of changes on those, rather just small bugs and fixes for things like the Op Sun and Leo, the Pit Viper, the Snake Camo. You kind of get the picture. But since CS2's full release is until the summer of 2023, which is bare minimum, in my opinion, 2 months away, probably a little more, looking at the end of August for a full release, a lot can change, and I think we're going to see that on a lot of the Dopplers here very soon. And that's not to scare or create FOMO with buying or selling, but that's just a warning for some people when you're buying some of these skins to keep that in mind, at least at this moment. Try not to buy any skins right now based on what they look like in CS2. I think this is just the beginning for updates to come for skins based on community feedback and what Valve wants to do with them. Now, another skin that was very interesting for a change was the Pop-Op. Now, on CS2's initial launch, on the main screen of their original blog post with them explaining new smokes, the tick rate, and a few other things, they had the Pop-Op at the very bottom, and it had a red scope, which I think led me and many other people to believe that this was just the new norm for skins like this, which I guess is false advertising in a way. But CS has done this in the past, showcase skins that don't exist or that are very different from what they actually are in game. But this is another skin that's also gone down. Surprisingly enough, this Silk Tiger actually doesn't look all too different, which means I don't think they changed it. This skin obviously looks a little bit different in CS. It's a different color blue, which I think this is probably going to see a change as well, but only time will tell. If people complain about it enough, that's when I think they'll fix it. Another skin that hasn't been changed yet is the SSG-08, otherwise known as the Scout Acid Fade. This kind of looks like an emerald type skin. This was also one of those skins that got some sort of upgrade, and I think a big problem when porting over skins from CSGO to this new engine in Source 2, where since they're different weapon models, the skin carried over to the scope. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but the skin looks a lot better, and they should fix it very soon so more people don't get burned on something like this. Now, luckily enough, because this is pretty common, it hasn't gone up too much. The Pit Viper has also seen changes going back to normal, which the skin before also looked amazing. Same thing with the Scout. It didn't go up too much, which that is good for people who bought in. Now let's talk about these specific skin prices and if they're going to go down to their original value. So the Op Sun and Leo, this was a pretty cheap skin for a while. Last month, you could pick this up for $23. It had an all-time high at $71.75 on the market, and it wasn't just one sold. There were 25 at this specific price. And then as soon as that update dropped, it was still $75, which probably would have gone over well over $100 because it looks so good. It dropped immediately down to $37, pretty much half of that. And this is actually something we talked about in our video going into Source 2 just after its release, where skins like this, if they were to change based off lighting or bugs, which at the time we didn't know if were real or intended, I think would probably go down not to zero or their original value, but somewhere in the middle, which is good and bad. Now, I guess this is some sort of announcement. I have a video called The State of the Market getting released either later today or sometime tomorrow alongside Mando Monday, probably after, where I'm going to be discussing the current problems in CSGO's economy, where things are rising too much in a very short period of time like we've never seen before, that is currently burning and will continue to burn even more people along the way because they don't know any better, and a few other things. And we'll also talk about selling, because things like RMR, in my opinion, are getting a little out of hand. We're not even one full week into Source 2, and a lot of these stickers have already jumped up 10x or a little more, which is pretty concerning. Though a lot of these items, if not everything, have seen some sort of graphical update, the main point is things can change and will. Just look at this past update. Let me know what you guys think. Stay positive, stay sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.